What's up, Dad? What's up, Dad? What's up? What's up, Dad? What's up?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Alrighty now, what's up everybody? We got a special episode for you tonight. Super excited. I'm just gonna right off the beginning of this one is gonna be called beef liver and bourbon. So we got some beef liver right here, and we're gonna have a little bit of bourbon. It is a little different of a night tonight. I have a special guest with me. There you go, sweetheart. So we have Nala here. This is our golden doodle, freshly off the haircut, so she's looking crispy. Love that. We got a special episode tonight. As you can tell, I am missing my trusty co-host Ryan. He has had an extraordinarily long week. We try to plan these things out in advance, and this week we kind of have been backed up. Past couple weeks we've been backed up. Life has been tough. We got end of school year. We got sports. We got all kinds of fun things happening, and let me just tell you, it changes everything. So as you got this and we're doing this, we're trying to get ahead of the podcast. But I knew that there was a lot going on. And so at the end of the day, I thought, hey, I'm good at really spinning the episodes. And so here's a spin. So with today's episode, what we have is a beef liver review. What do you think? Is it good so far? We've already broke these open. If you think it was easy getting her in the chair, you have another thing coming. We have some Vital Essentials beef liver dog treats made with pure beef liver, grain and gluten free, and no, I'm not going to taste them. Cleans teeth and gums. Let me see. You got to clean your teeth and gums. Oh yeah, no, they're pearly whites. So yeah, we're gonna be utilizing some of these guys the whole entire time. Let's see if you can hold on. Okay, can you do it? No, no, sit. Well, you're already sitting. How some dogs you can put the treat like on their nose. She's really good. Okay. All right, so we got Nala here. So she is my trusty guest. So how is today's episode gonna go? I have no idea how long it's gonna be. Let's go ahead and see. We're 2 minutes in, and I am just him hawing around here. So I do apologize. I'm gonna try to make like 20 minutes into the episode. We'll see. And if that happens, great. So what we have is I've been pretty good about doing an episode with Ryan, and in that you want some bourbon too, sweetheart? I thought she wanted some bourbon. Um, I have been really good with Ryan about giving him some interesting topics, things to talk about, and surprising him with stuff. But instead of that tonight, I asked him to provide me some questions. So I have not looked at these. I did pull it up, so it's up on my phone, but I haven't looked at these yet. I tried to talk Beth into getting on a podcast with me to have this, but she sent my trusty co-host tonight, which is Nala, with me. So she's gonna be here. I'm gonna try to ask her these questions. She's not gonna answer them, as we can tell, but we're gonna make this happen. So I got everything out here, and guys, I'm gonna be honest with you before I get started. He sent me 10, 11, 12 questions, so I'm super excited about this, and I don't even know where I was going, but I'm super excited about this. And oh yeah, we have gotten some crazy cool traction with the episodes, and that has been super cool. So this last episode blew up and did really, really well for us, in my opinion. So I'm really excited about that, and I feel like we're starting to move the needle in a lot of different ways. So if you're a dad and you've been watching this, it doesn't matter where you're at, located, you still want to be on the episode. We'd love to have you, as well as just stuff in general. So we're really enjoying it, and we're continuing to work on putting some good content out for you guys. This week crept up on us. We're probably going to have a different episode next week and the following week as well too. We have a guest that's coming on shortly after that as well. So Nala, you ready, girl? You need a treat. So before we get going, let's get her a treat. She's excited. Are you excited? Absolutely. Oh, girl, what is that all about? No, no, no. All right, we're gonna work on that. Maybe she'll be trained by the end of the episode. All right. So before we get started, here we go. Question number one from Ryan. We have Ryan's top 10 random questions. I am ready to go. How does it feel to be back doing a solo show or back with Beth? Beth's not here. Nala's here. So I haven't done a show with Nala yet, so this is exciting. How's it feel back to be solo? This is pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. I have gotten used to the banter going back and forth. So yeah, that's my answer to that. And hopefully that's not too short and sweet. But the reality of it is, I am enjoying having banter, having somebody to be able to like bounce stuff off of, not hold the conversation the whole entire time, or lead and like truly lead the conversation as far as just having guests on and asking questions and in that version. So at the end of the day, I don't know how much I like it. I like the difference of this episode. This is kind of cool. I like throwing these in. I would not be upset of doing this again in the future and the sporadicness of it. So I wouldn't be upset about that. So, but at the end of the day, solo show, yeah, no bueno. Not for me, in my opinion. I don't have enough cool stuff to talk about. So that is it. But I'm thinking every time I answer a question, you should get a treat. What do you think? Should you get a treat? Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Do you miss Ryan and why? Well, that's messed up. I wish I would have reread these and then said, give me better questions. Yeah, I think I said it. I do miss the banter that we have on the show. We've created a great relationship. The What's Up Dad, we have two different viewpoints in a certain sense on like fatherhood, dad aspects, but we have a lot of things in common too, as far as like our relationships with our parents, how we grew up in various ways. But then there are differences too, and it's nice to be able to have somebody to go back and forth with regards to it. So yeah, I miss having him on the show. So yep, Ryan. Sorry you had a long week. That is what happens. But hey, we're here, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I do miss you, buddy. You're gonna be back. You're coming back. We haven't gotten rid of you. Nala obviously can't speak. She doesn't even speak. Like she doesn't do the, you ask a dog to speak. She won't do that. So therefore, we gotta have you back. I'm not doing this by myself. Um, why has life been hard or easy lately? Uh-oh, you need another treat. Okay. Dang. That's a tough one. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. I would say there's a level of difficulty that has been arising lately. Family wise, a lot of family stuff happening. Best parent, grandparents have been in the hospital, so that's been really tough. A lot of family drama, dynamics and stuff. And I don't mean that in like a super negative way. There's just a lot of things happening family wise. So there's that. That brings its own level of difficulty when we're dealing with stuff. I think just a family dynamic outside of like your own realm of stuff has been difficult. On the parenting side of things, that's been a difficult factor as well too. I will tell you, there's been some high level of difficulty of parenting. We're going through some phases right now with our kids. Man, Skylar is uber emotional. So my oldest is uber emotional right now, and that plays a huge role in stuff. I think she is just really in her feels. We got the early teen years happening. This is the tenopause I think we're going through right now, before the teen years. And so at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of that, but also too, like I'm really excited. She's coming in her own. So that's something new and great as well. Um, my middle child, she is a lot. So that's been difficult. You know what I mean? When you have three kids, middle children are very, very hard. Just because they feel left out on both ends of the spectrum. And so we've worked really hard to make sure she doesn't feel that way. But I still feel like I'm failing at it. So from a parenting side of things, I feel like that. My son is just, man, he is like, he is a dude. He's a boy, like through and through. So like, that's the other thing, like being the youngest kid, it's just a lot different for him. But that's just a whole nother perspective that it bring to the table. So I don't know, a lot of stuff going on business wise right now, a lot of stuff going on the personal life, just things in general. Seasons are changing, sports are in, Beth is coaching, I'm coaching. We have multiple nights a week of stuff going on. I mean, it's really, really busy. So this is not the season that I want to blink, because if I blink, we're going to be over with. But man, it feels like it goes on forever. And I don't want to feel that, I don't want to say like that's a bad thing. I'm trying to enjoy it. So trying to slow down on the days that I have, and that would be my recommendation to anybody. I was talking with Nick Sizemore actually the other day, and last Tuesday, and he had mentioned, which he was on the episode before, and his daughter plays softball with ours. Well, she's on another team this year, but he was talking about how the calm before the storm. They had a night like a week or two ago or a week ago or whatever it was, and they all came home and they were like, "What are we doing tonight? What's going on tonight?" One of those things over and over and over again, and only to find out they had nothing to do. And that in itself is like, man, we got to cherish those moments, right? Like, cherish all the busyness and the craziness of things that are happening, but cherish the moments of like, it slows down, there's minimal things happening, and we got to be able to like step back and take a break, take a breather, and just witness that breather that we have going on. So, yeah, that's it. Number 4. If you had to recommend one trip for a father and son to take, what would it be? Why? And then a father and daughter to take. Um, wow, that's a tough one. Nala, what do you think? Okay, age. Ask me the age. The age is going to play a major role here. What's the interest in age? I don't think you can go wrong with like a serious sporting event for a son or something that they might be interested in. So if your kid likes football, you go to a football game and do something like that, and taking them to do something like that. Like, if they're a XYZ fan, figuring out how to make it happen. Like a friend of mine or business partner of ours, he took his son to um, see the Seahawks play. He loves the Seahawks. And so it's like that trip in itself is pretty memorable at the end of the day. So I would say like whatever you're interested in, build the trip around that. For kids though, in general, I'll be honest with you, one of the things Beth and I have talked about is doing an individual Disney trip. We thought about golden birthdays, but Skylar just had hers. So we didn't do it because it was like I think it was too young to make that happen. But I would say like whether it's like your golden birthday or set a time where you're going to do it for all your kids, maybe their 18th birthday, maybe doing like an individualized trip. And I don't know how possible that is for everybody, but that's something I've contemplated. We've kind of talked heavily about of thinking about doing that. Something else in that realm or that perspective, I would say a trip in general. Like, I think my kids love Disney. Take out everything that you have maybe bad feelings or frustrations towards Disney, and just understand that it's a super magical place for kids. It's just a fun spot. It's fun. They get to just enjoy things and let them be kids. You know what I mean? Taking the sights, taking the experience, the food, and the joy of that. I would say that is a lot of fun. We've done that. You want to get more specific? Go to a party, go to a Halloween party at Disney, or go to a Christmas party. Those are so much fun at the end of the day, and that is a next level experience, in my opinion, that I think all kids really, really love or can love. So I don't know if that's the right answer. I would say if depending on the age of the kid, you're diving into the interest. If they like sports, a specific team, take them to see that team. If not, a Disney trip is always a ton of fun, or something along that lines. I like that. Another treat. All right. What is the hardest decision you had to make as a dad? Woo. Okay, Ryan. Hold on a minute. Usually when I'm sitting here, and this is why this is more difficult, is I get a minute to think about these. I'm not gonna take all this extra time to think on the fly. Like, I got to think about it on the fly. So my answers may change over time too. That's something else I'm thinking about as well. Or if I had more time to think or expand my thought process, maybe that would be it. But give me 1 second. Let me think. This is a unique one. I don't I don't know if I've had to make necessarily hard decisions as a dad per se. Um, Something that comes to mind though is thinking about kids when you're having or wanting to have more kids. That's a hard decision, right? So I remember, you make this first big step to have your first kid. How does that work? How does that go? And then that second decision of like, okay, we're going to have a second kid. I think that comes into play. Then a third kid. So that's something that kind of comes to mind as far as like a decision, a hard decision that has been made as a dad. So if I think of it for a very specific way as a dad, that if we're talking more like daily or specific things, um man, like I don't know, there's a lot of like I want to say like having to tell my kids no, but no because I can't do something, that may be hard. I've felt some guilt over things that I've had responsibilities that has trumped other responsibilities, whether it was already booked and then something else was booked on top of it, but yet the one took precedence because it was a commitment and I'm a committed individual. Especially when something is, how do I say this, like committed much later and it's like, oh, it's happening tomorrow. We just found out about it, but the other thing's been booked for 4 months. Um, that's a hard thing, especially when it revolves around my kids, that in itself. So I don't know if that truly answers the question of what's the hardest decision you've had to make as a dad, but that's something that kind of comes to mind. Um, and then also just being like very, really? Also, undoubtedly she doesn't want me to rub her neck or anything. Um, trying to get comfortable or something? Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's something that just comes to mind. I don't know. So, all right, we're gonna keep moving. You need one of these though. All right, you can only eat one food for 1 week for each meal, so three things total. What are those three items? One for breakfast, one for lunch, one for dinner. Oof. Um, Sausage and gravy biscuits in the morning. If I was like hungry and I really wanted a meal, sausage and gravy biscuit sounds fantastic. Um, some type of deli sandwich of sort for lunch would be fantastic. I like a really hearty deli sandwich. Would be a sub of sorts. Love me a good sub. Um, Dinner, I don't know. I have like three different things that kind of come to mind. Beth makes fantastic meatloaf, a really good steak and potatoes, steak, onion, grilled onions, potatoes, or like a solid burger. That's what comes to mind. So Ryan would make me pick one. Steak. Yeah. I mean, for 1 week I could eat a steak every night. Yeah, I could definitely eat a steak every night. We're gonna go with that. It wasn't as bad as I thought going through it. So yeah, if calories didn't matter, if I was hungry in each and every meal, I would say that would be the scenario. Like a very good, oh, okay, or breakfast, man. Okay, like a spicy chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A or Bojangles with some Bo Rounds would be clutch, or just some biscuits and gravy would be fantastic. So still would pick a sub for lunch. Some version of a sub would be fantastic. Like I could go anywhere, Jimmy John's or go to like Wario's or something like that would be really good. And then the steak for dinner. Oh yeah, I can get behind that. Oh, what's God teaching you lately? That's the next question. You want one? You want another one? I think the constant thing that I feel being taught by God in our given scenario of where we're at, and it's like you would think you would learn your lesson, but I think this is where the devil continues to play on me and like to have grips on me is going to be patience of things that are out of my control. That's just something I've always struggled with. You know what I mean? Things like I don't do well when it's like when we're right in the middle of like it's kind of silent for lack of better words. Silence is deafening to me, especially when we're waiting on something news or it doesn't matter. Fill in the void of that. That is something that I struggle with. I could either live in pure chaos or, thriving in pure chaos, the good, the bad of that, and dealing through whatever we're working through versus the other side of it. But that middle waiting ground and the patience through that is something I struggle with, like looking for a date that might be upcoming, or as, somebody might not have had something that was due to us today or yesterday, and then they're like, it's going to be next week, and I got to wait to the middle of next week, or various things. Outside of that, just like, I feel like I've done a good job giving control away to him, though. At the end of the day, still through that patience, I'm still sitting back to just continue to give him control, but that patience piece is what's just eating away at me. So he's been working a lot of that at me lately, because I feel like we're in that middle ground, that waiting period, and all that stuff, and I just struggle with that, and um it brings the struggle that I'm having, especially where I'm at in my life, the struggle I'm having, it brings like unwanted, what I feels like anxiety, and unwanted, like some version of depression, and some version of like stress, and like all those mental frustrations as a man that we have, because, we want to be able to work to do something. Like, I know I can create a solution, but if I'm not able to do a solution because I'm waiting on somebody else, and I got to be patient for them, now I'm struggling. So that's just like a big piece of the puzzle that I would say it is really, really hard. Now, again, I've given up control, right? I give up the control to him, but there's like this level. It's like, okay, God, you have that. However, I'm struggling to be patient to what I just gave up to you. Like, that's a struggle at the end of the day. So to me, it's just something that kind of comes to mind, and it's yeah, it's a difficult piece. Difficult piece. Got another one. You're just lucking out tonight. I'm flying through these. I'm keeping it on a good cadence here, and we are doing flip. If you could have your kids again, but in a different order, would you change it, and why? No. No. I'll read it again. If you could have your kids again, but in a different order, would you change it, and why? No. I mean, that's selfish to say that. If they're if everything about them stayed the same, but that's not what would happen. And I probably would just flip flop Skylar and Sydney. But that's it. And I say that because the personality for Sid is not good of a middle child. I think she'll grow out of it. I think she's gonna flourish when she's older. These are going to be challenges that are going to take her to the next level, which I'm excited about. But Skylar, on the other hand, has that servant's heart, just very selfless heart, and that selfless heart that she had, I think, would have done just a better job in the middle child role. But again, that's not what the question says, so the answer is no. I would not switch it up at all, because that would mean that God's plan wasn't perfect, and God's plan is perfect of what's happening and how they were born in their order of operation. So you cannot trick me on this one, Ryan. I'm not allowing that. Not allowing that. All right. Next one. Are you tired of my questions, and why? You're lucked out on this one. This is an easy one, Nala. Yeah, I am tired of them, and I'll tell you why. There's no consistency. No, I appreciate, I can understand the build and where you come from these questions. ChatGPT did a very good job, or didn't put it together. And if it didn't put it together, it makes sense because they're very choppy. But no, I like the breaking up. You've had multiple pieces and stuff like that. So that's it. And now I can see where we ended on the and drum roll, please. What does a father's love mean to you? Wow. I don't appreciate you asking me this without you being here. Oh, I don't know. Like, we've talked a lot in church. There's been a lot of sermons and a lot of conversations about this father's love. The problem is we compare a father's love to what we have of our earthly father versus what our Lord the Father God the Father is. And that's not fair because, like, when you have a rocky relationship, you have one like I do. Ours gets twisted, and there's a twist that occurs there and difficulty that's placed on the situation. So at the end of the day, I don't know, right? I feel like I'm breaking a barrier with my fatherly love that I have and I'm giving to my kids, and that is a different than what my earthly father is versus my God the Father. So what does that mean? I don't know. I need to love my kids the way that the Lord loves me. That's what that means. Unconditionally, with mercy and with grace, full of love, right, and everything. That's what comes to mind. That's what a father's love comes. With that being said, I think of like how God handles us. We have free will, but there's mercy and grace that comes along with that free will to us. And so as I'm working through that, my kids need to be able to make their own decisions with retrospect. Like they need to make their own decisions. Um, guy, dad is guiding them and leading them and guide them, but I'm still going to love them through whatever they go through. I'm going to give them grace just like God gives me grace for being the parent that I am or the son that I once was or various things. So that's what that means to me. That's the way I look at it. Um sorry, I'm battling a cold and he's like next question, did you cry? I guarantee it's on there. No, I think that's it. I think that's the scenario. And a father's love, I go back to, we have it twisted because, we will read into the biblical version and then have that skewed based on our earthly version of what others will teach us to be, what maybe our earthly father has, like our true earthly father has, um, and how that affects us, right? And unfortunately, there is a cycle, a generational cycle that occurs with people over and over and over again, and we have a hard time of breaking those generational, not necessarily curses. I don't want to say it's a curse, but those generational cycles that happen because we only lean into being the earthly father to our kids as well too. Now we're never going to be the godly father. Like that's not it. I'm not saying that we're competing for that space, but we should be loving our kids in the same way that God loves us and showing them that that is what that is and passing that along, just like we should be loving others, but from a father's love perspective to our kids, that's how we should be loving, is how God is loving us. Not necessarily how our earthly father is. And I want my kids to say that dad was a godly man and he loved us with mercy and grace, and was filled with that himself because he wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect. God is perfect. Like Jesus was perfect. Like that is that thing. That's that piece to that puzzle for me. And I want them to be able to see even through my mistakes and my brokenness that I still love them with mercy and grace, with love and just filled with love, and that I'm going to love them no matter what, in all circumstances, through everything, the ups and downs. That's that. Boom. I don't know. That's the way I feel. All right. Oh, we got 2 left. Sorry, I wish I had a tissue of sorts. Beef liver? There you go. Did you cry during the episode? No, I haven't cried. I'm battling something. Booyah, Ryan. No crying happened. You want some? She doesn't want bourbon. No crying during this episode. I appreciate the ups and down of the questions here, just giving me a different perspective or look at it. So you're not leaving. I got 1 question left. This is hilarious. All right. So, question 12. This is probably bad for a dog to give him so many treats, so I do apologize. I don't want her to see them. Question 12. Did you come up with the title in the first 2 minutes of the episode, why or why not? And the answer, absolutely unequivocally yes. It was a beef liver and bourbon. So that is the title of the episode. That's what we came up with. And the why is because here I am with Nala, and I was giving her beef liver, so she would stay with me and enjoy this episode with me. Here you go. Go ahead. So we have some vital essentials. Freeze-dried raw beef liver. bites, dog treats, and we're having bourbon. So we're having fun. Wasn't even sure if I was going to break open the bourbon tonight, but she told me that was a good idea. Like, we were talking about it. You guys think I'm funny. That's it, guys. That's all I got. We stayed right at the 30-minute mark. Pretty cool. Something a little different. Let me make sure. Yeah, no other questions. So I hope that you like this different clip. I hope next time I do it, I'm not sick by no means or not on the weather. I think that's affected a little bit of this. But nonetheless, I've been appreciative for Ryan to pull some questions out and go with this. And again, if you like this version, this different kind of talk, again, you don't have that banter back and forth. You're getting like raw answers here. We're gonna do one for Ryan too, so I'll send him some questions. I promise you, I will chat GPT it, or Claude it, or co-work it, or something, so for him to get something really cool. But yeah, guys. At the end of the day, I appreciate the continuous listeners that we have. It's been a great. We're making some waves here and trying to make it happen. My one call out to you guys, if you're interested or if you thought about being on the show or you want to learn more about it, just watch a couple of the episodes and know at the end of the day, like, you have something interesting to talk about. There's something interesting about you. You might not realize it or know that. I think God has put something interesting in everybody to talk about. It's just like a testimony, right? Like, our testimony, we might not feel it's powerful, but when we share it, it is, and it does carry weight. It carries God's weight. It carries God's testimony, because that's what we're sharing it for. And to come on here and be able to talk about whatever you might want to be talking about and just stuff in general, we're going to find out a lot about ourselves. I still, every day when I come on this podcast, I find out more about myself as I open up and I talk more about things that have interest or in my life or I'm dealing with and stuff like that. So I just really encourage you guys to, if you have any questions or whatever it might be, we'd love to have you on. Nala, you've been fantastic. Thank you for being a co-host here. Unfortunately, you're not going to take Ryan's space. You haven't said much tonight, and so that's probably not going to bode well for your application or your live trial that we've had here. But I'm thankful that you took the time to you didn't leave. You sat there for 33 minutes. That's cool. So, all right, guys, just like always, appreciate you. Definitely check us out on the What's Up Dad podcast. Remember, you can listen to us on all channels. We have Spotify. We are on Apple, YouTube. We are everywhere. You can watch this recording. If you're watching it, give me a like, give me a comment, right? I'd love a comment of some version. I'd love to be able to talk with you guys. If there's any questions or things you want to tackle in the future, if you have something you want to tackle, please let me know. I'd love to tackle that with you or on this podcast, right? We have no problem having those conversations here. So, guys, thanks again. Appreciate you listening and sticking this far. And until next time, we should have something different for you next week. Just breaking it open and continuing on the What's Up Dad podcast. Check it out.
What's up, Dad? Hey, Dad. What's up?